began asymptomatic
Several
testing.
student organizations at FGCU, Oregon.
And we're going to play Guess the Song.
Hello, welcome to Hanging with the Executives here at the Bauer School of Music.
And you're watching ENTV.
Hey everyone, welcome back to week 8 of Hard Hitters. This week I'm your host Nick Aslin, joined with
Kevin Rollins,
James Rossi,
and Carson.
Alright, another interesting week of NFL games, some different upsets and some defeating wins by other teams. But let's begin with looking over two of the greatest quarterbacks in the league right now, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Both of their teams are 3-4. They both came off losses that both teams should have won. And so I guess just what's wrong with the Packers and the Bucs right now?
Yeah, I mean, losing Devontae Adams, obviously it hurts any quarterback. I mean, he's showed he could be good on any team. So, I mean, that's going to hurt Rodgers.
Brady's revenge tour is not going to plan whatsoever. Dude should have retired unless stayed retired at the end of last year. I think Brady's issue is he has too many off-the-field things going on distracting him from football, and I think Rodgers' issue is he doesn't trust a single one of his wide receivers, and that means he's not going to be an efficient quarterback.
So getting into our picks for this week, week 8 of the NFL season, we're going to start off Thursday Night Football, Baltimore Ravens versus the Bucs. You think the Bucs turn it around this week?
It's an interesting game. The Ravens and Bucs both have issues going on. The Ravens, they almost blew another lead last week, but they're able to come out with the win. This is still a Tom Brady-led team, so I gotta trust Tom. Big trust in Tom Brady this week.
I think Brady's gonna have to make a big step up to win. And for the first time ever, I think I'm gonna go against him. I think I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
I'm going to go with the Bucs mainly because they're playing at home, and I think Tom Brady is going to scream at his team hard enough this week to rebound for a win. But moving on, we have the Broncos versus the Jaguars. Kevin, you've been a huge critic of what's going on in Denver. What do you got to say for them this week?
Have a gotten there, mate. The bloody Broncos are rubbish. They're rubbish. They are riding the Titanic. It is sinking. Rumor has it Nathaniel Hackett, he might actually get fired very soon. The Broncos fans, they are cheesed off.
Once again, I'm going to say it because a loss happened last week. Broncos country, let's hide.
Moving on, we have an NFC South matchup between the Panthers and the Falcons. Panthers coming off their win against Tom Brady and the Bucs.
I think Panthers had a good week, but I think that, as you said, same with the Bucs, just playing bad. They lost, arguably one of the best running backs in the league. I got to stick with the Falcons.
Our next matchup, we have the Bears versus the Cowboys. The Bears surprising a lot of people on Monday night with their beatdown against the Patriots. Do you guys think they continue that beatdown performance against the Cowboys?
Yeah, I got the Cowboys as well. The Bears are too inconsistent, and the Cowboys have my current pick for Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, on their team. He is going to wreak havoc on that Bears offensive line, and Justin Fields will be running for his life. So I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Moving on, we have the Dolphins versus the Lions. Your Dolphins, you going to pick them?
Back. Tua's back. Tua shows up Sunday night and says, will the real Miami Dolphins please stand up?
And they almost lost this Steelers.
Yeah, but they still won. That's what matters. Big time win, but got to calm down this week. Can't lose yourself, or else you're gonna head to Detroit and you're gonna end up with vomit on your sweater. Lions are still a tough team to beat, but I think Miami keeps that momentum going. They win this week.
The Dolphins are far and away the better team here. I am not denying that. But this is my pick of the week for the game that makes zero sense. I got the Lions winning.
Moving on, we have the Cardinals versus the Vikings. Modern Warfare 2 releases this weekend. I don't think this is going to be a pretty performance from Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, so I'm just going to take the Vikings here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings as well. Kyler Murray's, going to be too busy doing his double XP weekend.
I'm going to switch it up. You just had your team. I think the Vikings are a wonderful team. I think they're doing unbelievable. But that was Hopkins' first game back. I think he'll only improve, honestly. I know he got a bunch of touches, but, he didn't even get into the end zone. I think Cardinals actually take this one.
Next up, we have the Raiders versus the Saints. What do you guys think for this one?
The Raiders have Devontae Adams, and Marshawn Lattimore's banged up. For the Saints, they still don't have Michael Thomas. Who knows if he's even still a real person? He was out for 2 years, came back for about 3 games, and now he's gone again. So I'm like 80% sure Michael Thomas is still a football player. So I got the Raiders in this one.
Our next matchup, we have the Patriots versus the Jets. No more Breece Hall for the Jets, but they did make a trade for James Robinson. I don't think that'll matter too much in this matchup, and the Jets will take the win here.
It'll be very interesting to watch this game because I think what has won the Jets a lot of games this year so far has been their defense and Breece Hall. I'm going to take the Jets in this one, but I don't feel confident in it. It's just because I just less than 24 hours ago watched the Patriots look like absolute garbage on national television. So I think that thought is burned into my mind more than the fact that Zach Wilson is not that good of a quarterback.
Taking away your star player makes a difference on any team. It's just what happens. And I think without that and with that change, I think the Pats take this one.
So our next matchup, we have the Steelers versus the Eagles. Kevin, do you think this is the week where your Dolphins live another season as the only undefeated 16-0?
I just don't think the Steelers still have enough what it takes to beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles might lose at some point, but it's not going to happen this week.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think the Steelers have what it takes. I think their wins haven't been particularly that great, and the Eagles are just looking. They've played some fairly easy teams, but you can't take it away from them. There's a reason why they're undefeated. Yeah.
Moving into our next matchup, the Titans versus the Texans. I think the Titans have really been surprising a lot of people and going under the radar with their current record. We didn't think at the beginning of the season they would be too strong, and I think that they'll continue their run this week to beat the Texans.
As you said, Carson, earlier, there's always that one game week where some upset happens, and I think this is that upset. The Titans, they do have a big game next week at Kansas City on primetime, and the Titans always seem to have that weird slip-up game to a team that they're not supposed to lose to. Usually it's like right around mid-season. The Titans are riding on a 4-game win streak, but I think this is that trap game. The Titans fall for a trick here.
All right.
I like it.
Next up, we have the Commanders versus the Sam Ehlinger-led Colts. No more Matt Ryan. You think he wins his first start?
No.
No.
I don't know what I can say about this game. It's Taylor Heineke versus Sam Ehlinger. I don't know what there is to say.
But I'm going to go with the Colts instead. That I think last week the Commanders' win was more so the Packers playing bad than the Commanders playing good. And I'm going to take Sam Ehlinger to win his first start. Our next matchup, we have an NFC West matchup that never really fails to disappoint to put on a good matchup. The 49ers versus the Rams.
Yeah, McCaffrey had, let's say, a mediocre game, but keep in mind, it was his first game with a new team. And if he can do that his first week, I think his second week he can be an absolute unit again. LA with their bye, I don't think it's going to help enough. I think Matthew Stafford's just throwing too many interceptions. And not just that, just pick sixes in general. So I got to stick with the 49ers.
Our next matchup, we have two teams everyone thought were frauds. The Giants and the Seahawks that have turned out to be real contenders, it seems. But who do you think will get exposed this week?
I don't think they were ever really frauds. We just thought that they weren't going to play well to begin with, and they suddenly ended up playing a lot better than usual. I think the Giants, they do get a bit of a reality check this week. The Seattle Seahawks have been playing out of their minds.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with you. I think the Seahawks made, first of all, the best moves of any team this year. Russ clearly is not the quarterback I think everyone thought he was.
Our next matchup is the Packers versus the Bills. I'm going to keep it nice and short here. This will probably be a game I turn off at halftime, if even halftime, maybe even the first quarter. This is not going to be a good game for the Packers. If you're a Bills fan, you'll be up all night watching this one. You're going to love this game. So yeah, I think you know who I'm going with here, and I'm going to take the Bills.
This Bills offense cannot be stopped. If you're going to cover Stephon Diggs, oop, you left Gabe Davis open. You're going to cover Gabe Davis, oop, you left Stephon open. Oh, you got both of them? Well, Devin Singletary's coming out of the backfield. And even then, Josh Allen could be just running it for 30 yards down the field without, and just hurdle a guy. The Bills are going to win this one, and I don't think it's going to be very pretty for the Packers.
On to Monday Night Football. We have the Bengals versus the Browns. Carson, Joe Burrow finally went Burrow last week. I think wearing the glasses last week during hard hitters really helped. Think you're expecting a similar performance this week?
I am. An interesting stat. Joe Burrow has never beaten the Browns, ever. Whether it was Baker, he never has beaten the Browns, ever. We've put up 30-plus points in 2 consecutive weeks, and you can say it was against the Saints and the Falcons, but those are both competitive NFL teams who, the Falcons coming into this week had almost just beaten the Buccaneers, and we're 3-3. So I think the Bengals have finally figured it out on offense. The defense still has not allowed a second-half touchdown through 7 weeks. We are just shutting opponents down in the second half. The only way we lose this game is if we get down early and the Browns can just run Nick Chubb all over us, which is a possibility. But I'm going to take the Bengals to win on Halloween.
All right, well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode of Hard Hitters.